Learn me, I'll learn you. Diversity, teach me, I teach you like university. Freedom be.
Hi, I'm Judy Blair, and I'm an anti-racism consultant specializing in working with white folks. I'm also a part of the team at Diverse City, and I'm really excited to be bringing you this video series. In this series, we're taking a look at 15 different aspects of white supremacy culture. Now, when I use the words white supremacy in this context, I'm not talking about white supremacists or Proud Boys or white nationalists. I'm talking about white supremacy as an idea, that whiteness is elevated to being the ideal in our culture, that it is assumed, it is the default. The 15 aspects that we're discussing in this video series come from a list published in 1999 by Tema Okun, an anti-racist trainer and activist. The list itself is the culmination of work by multiple people, including Tema, but also including Kenneth Jones, Daniel Buford, James Williams, Sharon Martinez, and others. Over the past 2 decades, the list has served as a useful framework for recognizing, disrupting, and dismantling white supremacy in our day-to-day lives. I want to be really clear here. The values and norms this video series is addressing are not exclusive to Western white culture, and they are not inherently bad or good. They are merely often invisible ways of being that are part of our socialization. If we want to create a more just and equitable world, we have to interrogate these values when we notice them coming up, checking to see if an alternate way of being might provide better, more equitable results. Word of caution, these norms should not be taken as a checklist of behaviors to eliminate, with the alternatives enshrined as the cure for all that ails us. Critical analysis and weighing of these norms when they crop up is vital. There is no shortcut to uprooting white supremacy. Each video in this series focuses on one aspect from the list, and today's aspect is fear of open conflict. Some people love conflict. Some people get energized by conflict. I am not one of those people. And I know a lot of people who are not one of those people. We have a fear of open conflict, and it manifests in all sorts of ways. It manifests in us getting defensive. It manifests in us just not listening, shutting people down, scapegoating people for making us uncomfortable. And that fear of open conflict means that we don't get to build anything together. You can't build something worth having without including people who have differing points of view. And differing points of view mean there's going to be some conflict. If we can learn how to have conflict that is what Adrienne Marie Brown calls generative conflict, conflict that builds towards a vision of a thing together, rather than destructive conflict that severs ties and relationships, then we don't need to be afraid of it anymore. If our conflict is constantly building us something really great, we don't need to be afraid of it. Sometimes there are good reasons to be afraid of open conflict. Absolutely. And you should examine that when it comes up. If you are feeling afraid of conflict, if you are afraid to say something to someone because you think that they might not like you anymore, or they don't want to work with you, or they may say stuff about you to someone else, or there may be other repercussions. Maybe you'll get fired. Who knows? Take a moment and think about that fear. Think about what it's based in for you in that moment, because context is everything. And if it's just that you're afraid of the conflict itself, then I challenge you to work your way through that and see if you can find a way to build something rather than shying away. Let's give it a shot.
Learn me, I'll learn you. Diversity, teach me, I teach